Hello, Ali here, broker with Remax Hallmark, here to give you the latest market update for the month of April 2021. Truth be told, the year-over-year comparison for the month of April doesn't make much sense. And that's because last year, April of 2020, was the first full month of a lockdown during the pandemic. And so there wasn't many people that were buying and selling. There weren't many transactions occurring. Those that were in the market had already purchased, and so they needed to sell in order to not carry two mortgages. And those others that had already sold needed to purchase a home because otherwise they might be left homeless. I'm gonna go over the year-over-year figures real quickly, just so you understand what I mean by it's not a fair comparison, and that it's actually comical. So when you see the headlines saying that the market has skyrocketed year over year, don't believe that, and here's why. The average price came in at $1,090,000 from all regions that report into TREB. That represents a 33% increase year over year. Last year's average price was approximately $820,000, and once again, that's because the market came to a halt. There was only 2,900 transactions, which leads me to the number of sales. It ballooned by over 362%. We had over 13,000 transactions this past April, and comparing that to the April of 2020 of 2,900, it's comical, as I mentioned. And so the headlines, if you're seeing them, don't pay much attention to them because they're using numbers that just really don't make sense. It makes a lot more sense to compare to the benchmark, which I'll do in a moment. But first, the days on market. Last year it took approximately 19 days to sell a property. This year it's taken only 10 days. That's a decrease of roughly 47% year over year. Luckily, I've been able to pull out some benchmark figures in order to do comparison to that. And I also think it makes more sense to compare April to March of 2021 in order to understand how the market is trending. Now, in terms of price, we're gonna do a quick comparison month over month, April to March. And you'll notice that the prices did dip by approximately $7,000 month over month. Now, in my opinion, that's not substantial. It's nothing to be concerned about. That tells me that the market is actually holding steady and that we're not going to be experiencing sharp increases that we did see in the first 3 months of the year. Now, one more data point we can compare it to is the MLS Home Price Index Composite Benchmark. It's a mouthful, I know. The MLS Home Price Index Composite Benchmark. It's a much better indicator of inflation year over year, and it came in at roughly 17.8%. As for sales, if we consider the 10-year sales average at 10,000 transactions for the month of April, sales are up still 36% for this time of year. Now, when we do compare sales to the month of March, they are down by approximately 2,000 transactions. Now, I think that's more of a function of new listings coming to market rather than demand. New listings month to month were down by 8.4%. So it only makes sense that with fewer listings, there will be fewer sales happening in the market as well. With only 11,668 active listings on the market, that represents a housing supply of 0.85 months. Or in other words, in 26 days, all of the existing inventory would be sold. Now, listings do continue to sell quickly. In fact, month over month, there has been no change in the days on market. It does largely vary on the location and the property type. And speaking of property types, for detached properties that sold in all the regions that report into TREB, it's taken on average 10 days to sell. For semi-detached properties, the average is 8 days to sell. Townhomes at 9 days, and condo apartments slightly more at roughly 12 days on average to sell. However, they are still selling at a relatively rapid pace. As for location, demand for ground level housing outside of the city remains one of the major themes for the past 12 months. In April, roughly 77% of low-rise housing sales did take place in the 905, where buyers can find more property, larger lots for relatively lower prices than they can find in the 416. The real estate market remains strong in the GTA. Things may not be as frantic and as fast-paced as earlier in March, February, and January. However, supply does remain tight, and that means that the prices are remaining steady with, I think, incremental increases in the months to come. If you're looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, we need to sit down and strategize your next purchase and sale in order to get you the best value in the current marketplace. If you'd like to compare the stats for yourself, I've posted every month for the past 2 years approximately on my Instagram, so follow me on there and scroll through my page. If you're watching this on Instagram, you should be subscribing to my newsletter, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you should be subscribing to my newsletter and follow me on Instagram. Any questions, anytime, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, And until next time, take care of yourself.